Good day, everyone. It is time to get some traction on overcoming sin of all kinds. They call me RevKev. What if I told you an ancient man knew something that, if heeded, would give you relief with your sins and addiction? Is it worth your time finding out? I made a promise about 10 days ago on this channel that I would explain a little more about one desert father in particular. His name was Evagrius of Pontus. He lived in the 4th century. He is an aloof, complicated, provocative, and dangerous fellow, renowned for squaring off with himself, temptations, and yes, even demons. But don't grow alarmed. I don't have the will to explain everything at once to you, but I promise that over time I will. As you can see, Evagrius was super intense. Evagrius, like other desert sages, moved out to the wilderness to become one with God. There is some confusion about these ancient Christian monks who sought after theosis. Theosis is a fancy Greek term meaning oneness with God. Today we might call these desert-minded people overly committed to Jesus as Jesus freaks or Bible thumpers. But what if Evagrius knows something that will help with our addiction? Do you not owe it to yourself to find out? You have one life to live. Don't you want to live it well before the Lord? I don't want to be the devil's tool. I don't want to be scared. I don't want to be living in shame. I don't want to be doing stuff in the shadows. Truth, I will just come out with it. I have no intention of moving out to the desert to be one with God. But I can learn tools, and you can learn tools. Bottom line, the desert folk were copying Jesus in Luke chapter 4. The desert fathers copied Jesus, who was fighting for his life in the desert. I know I am repeating myself. Today we think the temptations are in LA, like in Hollywood, Las Vegas, Mardi Gras in New Orleans, bars, nightclubs on the Strip. The desert monks and mothers followed Jesus, their mentor, out into the desert, albeit 200, 300 years later, to defend the cities against the demons. They saw themselves as agents of God, helping God restrain the devils from entering the city. The desert fathers and mothers weren't removing themselves from the game of life. No. They weren't hiding. They weren't retreating from the world. They saw themselves going full throttle with God on the attack against the forces of evil. We cannot afford to miss the obvious. First of all, with the temptation of Jesus. Jesus leaves us a script, how we can resist temptation, how we can be one with God. We don't have to move out into the desert, into the wilderness, to be a forwards-thinking person. But something has to change within us because God is not going to reorder his world, his life for us. Secondly, Jesus standing up to the devil in the desert, in my honest opinion, and take no offense if you're an Alcoholics Anonymous member, but for me it's the first step program. Number 3, the desert monks and mothers followed the way of Jesus. They weren't retreating. They laid their lives of commerce and family and headed into the desert volitionally to fight forces of darkness. Number 4, while in the desert, Evagrius of Pontus develops the 8 deadly thoughts. It was his personal prescription. He never intended it for anyone else, but people asked him for it, and he shared it willingly. And it was a man named John Cassian who took the 8 deadly thoughts from the desert out into the world, where they were discovered later by Pope Gregory the Great and became the 7 deadly sins. So I'm not going to get into those details right now, but maybe in the near future. But Evagrius is a wise man because he figured out some things about sin and addiction. He had knowledge about our sinful condition that impacts our ability to love God, love ourselves, love our neighbor, and love our world. I think that Evagrius figured some things out that were kind of before his time, before behavioral science. And by the grace of God, I hope to explain in detail some of those things to you. I've been guiding people about these things for the past 25, 30 years, but never like this, never on YouTube. Evagrius' program is found anywhere online. It begins with gluttony and ends with pride. You're welcome to look it up yourself. And yes, you heard correctly earlier. He thought the 8 deadly thoughts themselves were demons. I don't agree with him on that front, but we can talk some more about it. The first 4 centuries were ancient and primitive times. A lot was said and done that maybe we don't agree with today. So I have a lot of work to do. We have, as you can see, a lot to discuss. Meanwhile, be positive. God is for us, not against us. Take full confidence in this. What God began in us, he completes. In Romans chapter 8, verses 28 to 30, it says, right? For those God foreknew, he predestined. And those God predestined, he shall conform to the image of his Son. And those God predestined, he also called and justified. Take heart, courage, and confidence. We can be one with God without moving to the desert. If you would like to support the transmission of this message across YouTube, you simply need to share it. You simply need to subscribe, like, perhaps comment, and we can get it to more people. I look forward to unpacking more with you over the next few weeks and months. And until we meet again, God bless.